Sick kids cost money. Sick kids take advantage of us. Sick kids manipulate. Sick kids do all kinds of sick, horrible stuff. And a lot of parents they say, I'm doing TP, but they're not doing any of the treatment of TP. Paying all the bills for your sick child is not TP. It's just smart, because what are you supposed to do? Not give them and fight with them and argue with them so they sell stuff for themselves to get whatever they're getting? That's just going to make things worse. That's not TP. TP is a treatment method that the goal is that they will be healthier. And if they're going to be healthier, then they're not going to need all of these activities. So they're not going to be manipulating us. They're not going to be taking advantage of us. They're not going to be so sick and needing drugs and numbing, and they're not going to cost a lot of money. So until the kid in pain, is healed, there's a certain expense that they're going to cost you. Let's say it's $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. That's going to be there forever. But what we want to do is heal them. Paying the expenses that the sick person costs you doesn't heal them. It's nice. It probably will heal them 10 years from now, that at least they don't have the pain of not getting the money and then having to feel abandoned and all of that. But that's not the proactive treatment of TP. What we're trying to do is get access to the child, so that way we can build a deep NKN, Nafsha Kshura B'Nafsha, so that we can do something with that relationship. That thing that we do with the relationship, that's TP. That's the miracle. Everything until there is prepping the patient for the surgery, for the treatment. So if I want to get really close to somebody, so that way I can build a tremendously close relationship with them, so that way I can do this treatment, then today I'm not that close. Right now, if I'm going to start arguing with you, I will never build that NKN. So the treatment is over. So here's what I mean to say. Let's say it's going to take you 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it's going to take you to heal your kid. If you don't give the medicine part, you're stuck with this miserable kid and all the expenses and all the bad behavior forever. Or until, of course, we hope Hashem will heal, but we're talking about not doing what we need to do. The reason you're paying for their crazy clothing and their crazy stuff is that's not the end. That's so you have access to the patient. So that way she's calm, he's calm, they're in your house, they feel comfortable with you, and then you can go ahead and put your arm around them, and you can take them out, and you can bond and boost your NKN. That's opening the door so you can develop the NKN. But what good is NKN? NKN is very nice. You have a close relationship with your parents. That's beautiful. But look what you can do once you have a close relationship. When you go ahead and fill their life with fun and excitement and wow, you heal their brain. And I have no doubt, right now we're in 2020, I have no doubt in 2030 that the entire insurance companies, all the insurance companies will pay for all of this, and the medical field will see that we did fMRIs on the brain, and that by getting close to someone and making them feel safe with you and boosting their life with fun and excitement and wow, I can't believe it, that depression goes away more than medication, and anxiety goes away more than medication, and OCD and MP3 and JFK and the whole thing, BPD, because we see it here. We see it here, that when you consistently go to somebody who's never dysfunctional, and instead of expecting, and when are you going to, and how come you're going to, and why did you, and oh, they're so smelly, oh, they're so messy, oh, they're so this, and they're so this, instead if you heal them with fun, with wows, that they're all of a sudden, their whole matzav ruach, how do you say that in English? State of mind? Not as good as matzav ruach, right? It's like matzav ruach, right? Their whole matzav ruach, their whole emotional, right? It goes up, and they're happier. And all of a sudden, when your mind is flooded with, wow, life is great. I'm going to Disney World. I came back from Hawaii. I'm going to Jamaica. I'm doing this. And we flood their mind with memories, because they don't have good memories. with something on their calendar to look forward to because they have nothing to look forward to on their calendar. Ask them, what's the next thing on your calendar? They're all dysfunctional. They have no night, no day, no work, no nothing to look forward to. They don't expect to get married. They don't expect to have a wedding. They don't expect to have like their brothers and sisters' lives and kids. Everything is dark. But you fill it up with, we're going here, we're going there. What happens to them a few years later? Their whole emotional state lifts up and they have happiness and joy and pleasure. The memory bomb that so many parents do is so gewaldic, and the ones who don't do it, and I don't say this to be insulting, you're so stupid because it's cheap. It's $5, $10 for the memory bomb. It's mamash ruch, just that people don't do it. You can look over here, we have somebody left over there. And that's Farim Shank, some of the memory bombs. It takes all the stuff that you're doing anyway, and even if you don't get pictures with the kids, take a picture of each thing. And then a picture with them if they let, and the whole setup, and you make 2 pages out of it. We love you so much. It gives the child the ability to look through 3 months of gifts, 6 months of gifts, of fun. We love you. It boosts them. So what we have over here in TP is not to be dragged along, oy vey, I gotta not say anything, and oy vey, the kid's smelly, and oy vey, the kid's acting out. We have medicine. But the medicine, that needle, is to build a relationship so that you can ... That's the medicine. So many people are so busy because it's so hard, paying everything and putting up with everything, that they never get ahead of the kids. So it's like I tied your arm to a rope, and the other side of the rope is attached to a truck going 150 miles an hour. And that's what you feel like TP is. Like, wah! Getting pulled, and I can never say no. I can never say no. Everything is okay. Everything's okay. I want you to get out of this matziv. I don't want your kids leaving in the middle of the night overnight. We have experience with hundreds of kids who did that, and they don't do that anymore. How? TP. But you got to really learn it and understand. First, you got to go ahead and do the gifts on a consistent basis and the time bombs and build the NKN. Once you have an NKN, you got to use that to infuse your child's life with fun and wows and excitement and great memories. Ad ein saif. You cannot overdose on this. As much as you possibly can do, and the quicker you do it, the quicker they heal. I always say this story, and I'm saying it again. There's so many hundreds of families here, and when I looked at this family, they had such hatzlacha, and I was like, why did they have hatzlacha? This family came here. It was a girl. Girl was typical Kip. K-I-P. Typical. No tznius, no Shabbos, depression, sad, terrible black eyes. There's a picture of her dressing and she's wearing 2 different shoes on. She was with boys and lowlifes and hanging out at night and doing drugs and being schlepped around to parties and getting drugs pushed in her drink and who knows what else. Depression, anxiety. Typical Kip at the typical age, 15. Okay, the parents came here, or maybe she was 16. The parents came here. And a year later, and I've showed you pictures of her, a year later, she's beautiful inside and out, from saying Perek Shira, davening Shachris and Mincha. And then 2 years later, she got married. Now she's from, married, kid. And I look back, in 1 year, what did they do? What happened over there? And they did not have a budget. So what did they do? So you could speak to them. What they did was, they were very lucky that they were able to do it. I'm not saying it's easy. The mother took this kid every single month on a trip to a different place, Puerto Rico, Bahamas, Jamaica, wherever it was, for about 8, 9, or 10 days. So she became best friends with her daughter. Okay, so so she would want to do this with her because not every kid wants to, and that's the first part of TP, is creating the relationship. They should want to spend time with you. So many parents out there say, my kid doesn't want to spend time with me. They say, really, once you do TP properly, we have 30-year-olds that are spending time with mommy and daddy going places. If you accept them, they will choose you more than their friends. Healthy kids would rather spend time with their friends than their parents. Kips would rather spend time with their parents than their friends. You know why? Because their dysfunctional friends don't do anything fun. They don't feel good when they come home. When you take them out, guess what? The plan actually worked. You actually got in a car, you got somewhere, the place was still open, you got the right address, you didn't run out of gas along the way, you actually had fun, came back and it was wholesome and you got a hug from your parents and it feels yummy. So once we build that NKN to 80, 90, they will go with you. And anytime that they will go with you, go and go and go. So she built that great relationship. And then she's just started going. 8 days, 9 days, 10 days. And by the time she came back, a week later, surprise, next week we're going for another 8 days. Nobody can compete with that. But what happened was, miraculously, all of a sudden when she came back, she was already out of the loop of the chaverim. She was out of the loop of the friends. And, they seemed a lot dumber than they seemed a few months ago. They're wasting their time because she's out going to hotels and having a good life and going to spas and what are they doing? Nothing. So they became a lot smellier and dumber. The bench outside became a lot harder, right? And the weather became a lot uglier and yuckier and rainier and colder. And she's like, I'm just more comfortable being home. And then after a few months, all of a sudden, she just wanted to be home. And this was the treatment method. You could speak to them, you could meet them, and I would love everybody to do that. It's too hard. Somehow they were able to do it. So think about it. By the end of the year, the kid was frum. I'm not saying every single kid is going to become healthy, stable, and frum. This is just ma'aseh shahaya. We have to learn from that, and we have to hope and pray. So let's say it takes 2 years. Let's say it takes 3 years. Come on, that's still beating the odds. But here's the craziest part. Her bill to do this was cheaper than any other method out there. There is no method out there that's cheaper than what she paid. The psych wards and the rehabs and the medications and the therapy that the kids don't go to anyway. And this was unbelievable. So figure out how much it cost her. It was taka expensive. She always did Groupons and Google Flights. She found out how to do it cheap. Like I always repeat, we had a mother here who saw a Google flight. She took her son to Puerto Rico, 3 days, 2 nights, 4-star hotel that was gorgeous, right? And how much was the whole trip, flights and food for both of them? Under $1,000. Wow. Now you have to add on a little bit this and a little bit that, and that depends. Some people can get away for less. Some people will spend more. Okay, so it's $2,000. By the end of the year, so for $25,000, $30,000, which is what she would have paid for this girl to go to seminary. Most schools can cost that much. It wasn't even that much more than a regular kid, but yeah, it was. She got a healthy kid. So we have to remember is, if you are upset about your child's behavior, change their behavior. Make them healthy. Don't just tolerate. That's what the world is up to, because they stopped already with a lot of the tough love and fighting and boundaries, but it's not working. Because how are we supposed to tolerate living like this? Nobody taught them that there's medicine if you boost that kid's life. And that's why it's very individual, because what's going to make your kid super excited and happy is not the same for every other kid. So you got to know your kid. When you're out going for a drive and they start talking about whether they like football or they like a certain singer or they like a certain place, and they start opening up to you, you know how to rock their world and make them super excited. Give them a week or two to look forward to it, and then go and then do it again consistently and watch what happens. Watch what happens. It's not geschmack because it's a lot of work. It's very daunting. But we're not asking you to go to cold places. You don't have to go to Siberia, right? We're just going to beautiful places. You'll get nice massages. You look around at the parents in our group. We have the nicest tan complexions out of the whole Klal Yisrael. Everybody's traveling and going. That's the medicine. It sounds crazy. What? I'm supposed to help mental illness by getting close to my kid and boosting them with surprises and gifts and fun? And yeah, while you're doing that, look at the expense of the kid. But as you heal the kid with the treatment part, the expenses go down. So a lot of parents are so busy with the expenses and with everything that they can't get ahead of it. You got to get ahead of the pain. You got to get ahead of the kid. You got to find out how to do that. We do have a KIP fund. I wish it was an unlimited KIP fund. Really, you parents are amazing. You're angels. I wish everybody comes in. You should get a credit card. Unlimited, go save your kid. Because, Mama, since the Holocaust, we never had such amounts of money. We really could save lives. We don't have unlimited, but you'll tell me for the big bombs, the gifts, we try to give, and the time bombs, we try to give, and Klal Yisrael is chipping in for that, and we're here for you. But this is the medicine. The medicine is building a relationship so that you can begin your work. CPR, to resuscitate the soul with smiles and fun and gifts. And the more times that they're shocked This is a shock treatment, but not the electric shock that they attach radio, what's it called, electronic impulses, and you have to plug something into the wall and shock the brain. This shocks their brain. After doing this a certain amount of time, the kids stop saying life stinks. They stop saying life's horrible. They stop saying I want to die. They start saying, like, I feel better. They should feel better. Reb Gershon Edelstein Shlita, he said that love, kavod v'yedidus, gives the child that they are mekabel koiches. They get energy. They get emotional energy when their parents show kavod and yedidus. And that gives them the energy to fight their battles. I'm just saying we want to up that. Kavod and yedidus, yes. And then once you have access, fun and trips. And we have so many wonderful parents here. You double up on it, you triple, you know how to do things to get your kids to be excited about life. Yismach Lev, Mevakshei Hashem. It's the same road. We don't need more sick Jews. We need healthy Jews. If they're happy, and then they become functional. The same kids that were so dysfunctional, all of a sudden, because their matzav ruach is stronger, they didn't crash and they don't just see darkness. All of a sudden, after a certain amount of time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, every kid is different. On their own, what am I doing with my life? Why don't I get a job? Why don't I do something? When am I going to be a mensch? Oh, interesting. Then they try and they fail. Just like anybody trying a diet or anything else, they fail. And they try again, and they need a lot of koiches to go through this journey. It's a painful journey, but if you have Mami and Tati behind you, then in Mitzvah Hashem, they could become alive, happy, functioning, stable, happy, and Yismach Lev, Mevakshei Hashem. In Mitzvah Hashem, they should all come back and give us a lot of Yiddish and Nachas.